There we go. So we've just started that recording and welcome to people who are just joining. And yeah, no worries if you need to have your cameras off. That's absolutely fine. So let's just have a quick look at our agenda for today. And we're going to start with a short recap of what we're doing here, why we set up this community of practice. Last time we had quite a few requests to have a focus on AI at our next session. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I know recently we had a bridge webinar on Lightfall's approach to AI. So today we're going to focus on problem solving at your organizations with AI. So we'll give some tips and some inspiration from our side before handing over to you for your networking and ideation. And then we do have an exciting new AI tool to share with you, which is launching exclusively with the cohorts funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So that's really exciting, and we'll be sharing that at the end of the session. And let's have a look at our session objectives as well. And the reason that we've arranged this session is to give you an opportunity to build connections with organisations who are working in similar cause areas. So you want you to spend some time brainstorming and coming up with ideas together, and to hopefully leave today with some new ideas, connections and solutions, feeling inspired and motivated, and hopefully feeling more supported in all of the amazing work that you do. And we know that we're more powerful and have more impact when we join together with other people. So that's hopefully what we're going to do today. Of course, that does require your participation. So hopefully everyone can get fully stuck in and network with each other today. But let's do a quick intro to myself and Sabina, who are on the call today, so you know who's here. I think I've met lots of you, but as a super quick refresh, my name is Jasmine and I'm the digital training lead here at Lightfall. So I've been with you all on your bridge journeys, whatever stage you're at, depending on your cohorts. And really pleased to be spending time with you all today. Looking forward to getting stuck in and hearing more from all of you as well. And I'm also joined by Sabina, so I'll let you introduce yourself, Sabina.
Thanks, Jasmine. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all online today. For those of you who don't know me, though, I am Sabina, one of the digital communication coaches on the team at Lightfall. So just like Jasmine, I have the honour of working with you all throughout your bridge journeys. I'm joined by Darcy today. This is my cat. She wants to be part of it too. And my background is in the non-profit sector. I worked in a conservation charity in the UK for 12 years, covering all things social media, website optimization, and online and offline campaigns. Can't get my words out right now. I'll hand you back to Jasmine.
Thanks, Sabina, and also special welcome to Darcy. If anyone else has any cats present, we always like to see. I've sent my dog into another room because she was stealing some socks, so she won't be here today. But just to set the scene with a little bit about our community of practice, we have 3 different bridge cohorts on the call today. So the first cohort of you graduated a couple of months ago, so big welcome back to any of our alumni members who are joining. Our second cohort are just heading towards the end of bridge, and then our third cohort are about halfway through. So it's really great to get everyone together, and you are all in bridge cohorts that are funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And so this community of practice is exclusively for all of you, but in the hope that you'll make connections across cohorts, share knowledge and experience, and continue to network beyond the bridge. And when we say a community of practice, we're talking about an organised group of people with a common interest or a common area of work, such as yourselves, all working in non-profits, and lots of you focused on specific communities. And the idea of building this community is that you can collaborate regularly to share information, to improve skills, and actively learn about subject matters that are important to you in your specific work, and to have a support network, a bit of an external perspective as well, that you might not get in the day-to-day busyness of things. And at our very first session, we shared ideas of words and phrases that we wanted to use to define this community of practice. And some of the top ones were inspiration, wisdom, resources, and thought partnership. And I really like the term thought partnership, and I feel like that really encapsulates what it is we want to do. And I know that for many of you, we talked about our biggest challenges at the start of this, and lots of you shared about having enough time, which I totally resonate with. But we're especially grateful for you all making the time to join us today. And hopefully this will be really useful, and you can have something to take away that will really help you in your work as well. And in our first session, we talked a lot about challenges that different organisations are facing. So if we look at the next slide, we'll see some of the top themes that came out of our previous discussions. So as you're reading through those, you probably will see some that resonate with you, but you'll notice different challenges of time, capacity, staff and skills. And this is something we hear from a lot of nonprofits based all around the world, actually. So hopefully know that you're not alone in those challenges, but that is also why we have this programme on Bridge, but also this particular community as well, which hopefully will be helpful. And we're going to look at problem solving today, and we're going to look at addressing our challenges through the lens of AI. So particularly today, thinking about what are the most time-consuming tasks that you do, and we'll ask you about that in a couple of minutes, and then we're going to look at some time spent together in breakout groups, really diving into those. But I'm going to hand over to Sabina now, and we're going to look at our AI tips and initial ideas just to get you thinking.
Thanks, Jasmine. And before we do that, I'm just going to launch a poll for you all. It should be popping up on your screens now, asking, do you currently use AI in your work? With the options of yes regularly, yes sometimes, and no. So I can see you're already voting in that. Thank you, everybody, for letting us know how you're currently using AI. And it's a real mixed bag from those votes that have already come in. Some people saying no, some people saying yes sometimes, and some people saying yes regularly. So yeah, really interesting to get that insight into how you are currently working with AI, and maybe that might have changed by the end of today's session. And we have got a Slido poll also that we would like to ask you. So if you follow the QR code on your screen, or if you head to slido.com and pop in that number that you can also see there, that should bring up a word cloud where if you could submit one area in your work where you'd like to save more time, that would be really interesting to see the responses and see if we have any kind of common areas. That should hopefully, it's active now, so it should start building up as you submit these areas of work where you'd like to save time. If you do have any problems with the Slido, though, you can pop your areas into the chat as well. Managing my inbox, oh my gosh, yes, I keep thinking my inbox is on fire right now. I need to find an AI that will help me with that. Email, video creation, writing, lesson planning, that's an interesting one. Yeah, keep them coming, really. Oh, fundraising, great. Yeah, these are all very time-consuming tasks. Email seems to be coming up a few times there. It's getting bigger. Now it feels like it's a personal attack. The emails. Cool. Grant writing, that's a great one. Writing and grant writing. Lesson planning, we've already seen. Thank you, everybody. Keep them coming. But this is really useful to know which areas you'd like to save time in, so we can see if we can use AI to help with any of those. Let's leave it live for just a few more minutes because I can still see got some people typing away. If you'd like to elaborate on any of these points by posting in the chat, we'd love to hear from you. Data analysis. Yeah, that's a good one that's just come through. Definitely, yeah, it can be a very time-consuming task, diving into the data and understanding what it means and drawing the conclusions and then putting them into practice. Very time-consuming indeed. Great, okay, I think that's everybody. Oh no, one more person's typing. Let's give it a few more minutes there then. Whilst you are typing away, I'm going to end that poll that was live before, and I'll share the results so you can all see the kind of spread of answers. Okay, I think that's everything that has come through now. Great, thank you everybody. Maybe we revisit this towards the end of the session and check in against it. I think that would be useful to have a look at. So, like Jasmine said, lots of you shared that you'd like a session to talk more about AI, and you've also shared that one of your biggest challenges is time saving, and really interesting to see all those areas you'd like to save time in. So that hopefully works very well for what we are going to be talking about today. So I know we've mentioned AI at several Bridge webinars before, so I'm going to go straight in and share some tips for you to start using AI tools. But if you have any questions about what generative AI is or how it works, do, raise your Zoom hand, come off mute, or post in the chat, and we can help you with that. So something I always recommend people to start using AI is to really just have a go. Try using something like ChatGPT and see what it can do. I mean, you can't really go wrong just by giving it a try. And it can feel quite strange to start with, sending a message to an AI, but this is how we all started, and it's a great hands-on way to learn. As as a team, we recently had a workshop where we all shared parts of our job that are the most time consuming and use that as a starting point to see how we could develop our own GPTs to save time. So maybe you might not feel confident going that far just now, but you could use existing tools to come up with solutions to some of those challenges that you shared earlier. And thinking about those tools that are available, ChatGPT is, of course, one of the most well-known tools. And just recently, they've opened the ChatGPT store, and you can also enable a number of plugins. So I use ChatGPT for quite simple tasks that would usually be quite time consuming. So honestly, everything from drafting emails to finding the right time to schedule in meetings or live sessions when we've got like a spread of geographic areas. And then Claude is very similar in terms of its functionality, and actually a lot of comms professionals prefer this as a platform. And Copilot is Microsoft's version of chat-based generative AI. And Chatbase is something I found quite useful in creating my own chatbots, and I know Jasmine has too. So without any coding knowledge at all, you upload the content you want it to draw from. And so that could be like frequently asked questions or definitions. And from that, it creates a chatbot. And then Jasper is one that is used specifically for copywriting. So for those of you who were sharing earlier that writing is one of those challenges in terms of time, maybe check out Jasper. Then there are various image generation tools. So I expect a lot of you already use Canva, and they've actually started integrating little AI tools, which I think are really helpful, but for particularly like generating and editing images. And Adobe have brought out Adobe Firefly. So if you're already using Adobe, this might be an interesting one to test out from a design perspective. Then we've got DALL-E and Midjourney, and they are both text to image tools. So you describe what you want and it generates an image from that. And then Synthesia and Runway are used to create videos. And you can describe what it is you're looking for, or start with imagery or edit an existing video. And then HeyGen is actually a tool that can translate videos of you speaking into another language. And it's actually quite scarily realistic and probably has got some ethical issues. So not necessarily one that we recommend using, but it's quite an interesting one to check out. And then that leads me on to say that while you should experiment with AI, don't jump straight in without thinking it through. So definitely do experiment and work out how the tools work, how they can be used, but think it through before you start making huge changes to how you work or how you work at your organizations. And then some key areas to think about when you are using AI ethically, they're up on your screen now. And it is a really good idea to create an AI policy for your organization. We've recently created a template to help you to create an AI policy, so we'll share that in the chat. But some quick tips are to make sure you don't put confidential information or personal data into AI tools. Be responsible in how you use your data and how you use the tools. And if you are using the tools, then you should be transparent about that too in your work. People need to know how and when AI is being used. And your use of AI should promote fairness and inclusivity too. So think about any wider implications in the way that you use AI in your organisation. And I can see Jasmine's just shared that template in the chat. So do take a look at that. It's got some prompts to think about the different areas and help you kind of decide how to use them in your work. And yeah, well, that kind of leads me on to say don't leave AI to its own devices. And I'm not talking here about the scale of robots taking over, but at Lightfall, we have always been advocates for keeping a human in the loop. AI is a brilliant assistant. It does not have the intelligence or the sophistication to be left unsupervised. So that human intervention is really key. And play to your strengths. So there's a lot of fear about AI taking over people's jobs, and that is definitely not what we advocate for here at Lightfall. People don't need replacing by robots, but we need help in terms of capacity. And this is where I think being open to how AI can help with your mundane tasks or your writer's block, with whatever it is that's really draining for your time and your specific energy. So 50% of nonprofit employees experience high level of burnout, according to Stanford University. So let's look at how we can use this technology to free up time and headspace to work on the projects that you're passionate about and putting your unique human skills and expertise to really good use whilst using AI to help you with those most time-consuming tasks. So I'll hand you over to Jasmine now for some quick starter ideas.
Great, thank you, Sabina. So yeah, here are some initial ideas for how you might want to look at using AI. So automating routine tasks, thinking about what jobs you do that could be done by AI, or maybe could be done quicker if you use AI or similar tools. Maybe creating content, helping brainstorm ideas, or giving some starter copy to help you get over some writer's block. And actually that ties in with all those different suggestions you were saying about, particularly about copywriting, maybe to do with emails, but also data analysis, that came up as well. Maybe creating donor segments or coming up with suggestions for donor stewardship plans and techniques. those different things just to kind of help you start thinking about it. And it's really interesting that they do tie into what you all just kind of mentioned as being things that take up a lot of time or things that you would like help with. So what we're going to do now is spend some time in groups coming up with ideas. So I'm going to put you all into breakout rooms, and then what we would like you to do is on the screen. So if you introduce yourself and your organisation, always a great chance to make those connections and practice maybe a short elevator pitch about your organisations. But then share your experience using AI. It sounds like we've got a mixture of experience in the room today. So if you're a complete beginner, maybe you're a bit of a pro and you've got some insights that you can share. But then work together to come up with some solutions and ideas to help you save time in your organisations. And it might be related to some of those starter topics that I've just mentioned, or it might be something totally different, and we'd really love to hear your ideas as well. So we're going to give you about 20 minutes or so to discuss this, and hopefully you can really dive into what the challenges are that you'd like to address. And that should help you get an understanding of what each of you are working with and brainstorm and come up with some ideas collaboratively. And then we'll come back together and share a summary from each room with the wider group. And that will be really helpful just to be able to pull some ideas and experiences. I'm sure we'd all really appreciate that. So I'm just going to open up those breakout rooms, and hopefully you'll get that notification pop up and you can go ahead and join those rooms. And I'll give you a little update when we're near to closing those rooms so you can wrap up and get ready to share with the group. But hopefully you can join those. Let me know if you're having any issues, or head back to the room if you need any help. And we're happy to help. Hello and welcome back, everybody. I think there's just a few more people left to join us, but hopefully you found those group discussions useful. It'll be really nice to spend a few minutes just kind of sharing. Oh, hi, another group's just come back. Welcome back. I was just saying we're going to spend a few minutes just sharing maybe some key things that have come out from each of your rooms, whether that's solutions or other things that have emerged. But also feel free to share. Yeah, several people share because there's just a small group online today. So yeah, how did you get on? Would love to hear if you want to come off of mute and share with the group anything from your group, or anything if you're kind of partway through conversations and you want to kind of pick that up, then yeah, go ahead.
Well, I learned about Canva. I don't know anything about Canva, so I just downloaded it on my phone, and next I'll download it on my tablet so that I can start using it, because I'm very excited about using AI. Very, very excited. And I loved hearing that you could actually take text and turn it into images. That blows my mind, but I can't wait to try that. So I heard some really cool things. Everybody's more experienced than me. I'm a newbie, but I'm an enthusiastic newbie. So that's it.
That's amazing. I love that. Yeah, Canva is so good, and they've got their free account for nonprofits, which is really helpful. I know loads of people love it, and yeah, some of their AI tools are pretty good actually. They really make even like little tasks, like if you need it to resize, like if you've got an Instagram post, need it resized for Twitter, you can just get it to do that, and it does it intelligently rather than throwing everything all over the place, which is surprisingly good time saver compared to how long that would usually take me. So that's really great. I'm glad you've learned something about Canva. Love that. Cool. Who would like to go next? What else are you talking about in your groups? Anybody like to share? Maybe not. If anyone would rather post in the chat, I'd love to hear if you came up with any solutions that might help save you time, or anything that you didn't know before after speaking to your groups. Perhaps not. No one feels like sharing with the main group. Maybe if you'd like to pop in the chat. Oh, Sharon's asked if anyone has a free translation app or website that they really like. Yeah, Sharon, do you mean more for written translation or audio, or what are you thinking? Either. So I use DeepL a lot. Let me post. Oh, Sabina's going to post. There we go. So it's a really good tool, and I think I found it to be surprisingly good, actually. In terms of like, you can get a plugin for Google Chrome. I think you can get a plugin for other things, but like where I have lots of slides and documents, I can get the plugin and I can just click translate. It translates all the text, keeps the stylistic angle as well, which a lot of tools don't. So like it keeps our fonts, keeps everything like that. And you probably know our coach, Svetlana, and she is our Ukrainian speaking coach. So we've tried it out where we'd put it into Ukrainian and get her to check it. And she said there's kind of like minor tweaks, but it's good. And the same with one of our French colleagues as well. So DeepL, I absolutely recommend. Yeah, it didn't used to be very good. You know, like Google Translate has always been a bit dodgy, but yeah, DeepL's a good one. I would definitely recommend that one. But yes. So actually, in terms of tools, do feel free to continue posting any kind of thoughts or learnings in the chat. But one thing I would like to share is, I know I mentioned at the start that we have a new tool to share with you. And this is called our digital toolkit. And this initiative has been made possible with thanks to generous funding from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And they funded the creation of a brand new toolkit that our team have created, designed to empower nonprofits with digital skills and confidence they need to amplify their impact online and drive positive change. So I'm going to share my screen and talk you through that now. So I'm just going to pinch the screen share. Thank you. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. Great. So you'll see it looks a little bit familiar. It's in the same style as a Lightful Social platform, and there are some similarities to the tools you'll have seen before on the programme. So this toolkit has a digital strategy wizard, but it's also got a new storytelling checklist, and our development team are about to release our campaign planner in there as well. And the idea is that this toolkit will be freely available to nonprofits, whether or not they're on Bridge. They don't have to be a Lightful Social platform user. And this is supposed to be a one-stop shop for planning digital campaigns. So creating the strategy, the campaign plans, and sharing impactful stories. So I'll just show you quickly around it now, and then you are all welcome to start using it. We wanted organisations in this cohort to be the first to have a go and use it. And then soon you'll be welcome to share this with anyone in your network who might find it useful. So those of you that have already graduated will have received an email with a link to it, and the rest of you will get an email this afternoon. So really excited that, yeah, it's something initiative kicked off by the Gates Foundation that our team have then been able to develop in line with thinking about how we can really meet the needs of nonprofits using our tools. So you can open the toolkit by typing in toolkit.lightful.com, but we'll share a link. It's not on Lightful Social platform, but it does link to your existing accounts. So you can connect, so you can see that I'm logged in here. You can use your usual account that you use for Lightful. And you can see the digital strategy wizard. You can see that I've started it. This will look familiar, hopefully, anyway. And this is the tool that we currently have on the platform. So it'll link up and it pulls through your digital strategy if you've already got one. So that will be the same across both of those things if you're logged in. If you haven't seen this before, this is the way that we recommend you go through and create and update your digital strategy. So an interactive tool that you can use. You can do it in stages. You don't have to do it all at once. So particularly if you're new and starting out, perhaps going through a section at a time can be really helpful. What you can also do is export that as a PDF to share with your teams, but it's a live and kind of living piece that's connected to your login, so you can go in and review it and update it as much as you would like. But the other thing in here, the next bit will be the campaign planner. This is very exciting. I've seen the draft and it's very nearly live, and I think this will be a really useful tool because you can put in the goals for your campaign. Basically all the steps that we share when we recommend looking at how to plan a campaign, you can put in here, so it's in one place. And I think that's going to be really helpful to just streamline the campaign planning process and hopefully just take away some of those barriers and make it feel a bit more accessible, something that we can do in one place rather than having, you know, documents everywhere and trying to pull everything together ourselves. But then the other thing we have is a storytelling checklist. So kind of once you've started with your strategy, you plan your campaigns, the content for your campaigns are the stories that you're sharing. And you've probably seen our ethical storytelling tool before, and this is different to that because it focuses on creating impactful stories. So it looks very similar, and I've put an example in here. And so similarly to our ethical storytelling tool, which is available on the platform with all the other tools that you can usually see, this is measuring, kind of looking at set criteria of impactful storytelling. So you put it in as usual, you click get AI feedback. And then I'll show you one that I generated earlier, hopefully, if it will let me show you. Maybe not. I'll click AI feedback and we'll see what it comes up with. So it's looking at the key concepts of ethical storytelling, no, of impactful storytelling, sorry, that we talk about in our live sessions and when we're generating really great content that will be compelling, engaging with your audiences. The idea being that once you've planned your campaigns, you create the content and this is then going to review that content for you. And for example, this one we've looked at, number one is center your story on a character, and it's got an analysis about the story that I've put in here, and it's got great job, you've already done that one. But then, for example, here, drawing your audience as soon as possible, it's got an analysis and then some suggestions. So I can then go back to my story. I can do that in here, so I can edit it here and I can save it and then click for another round of feedback. You see, this is now feedback round 5 of this test one that I've been looking at. And it's got these key points here and then some information about how you can apply this. So this kind of ties into our idea of not getting AI to replace people, but actually helping us to learn and improve and grow and add in your own expertise in there as well. Because you might look at some of that feedback and say, no, that doesn't apply to this one, that's fine. It's not changing your story, but it's giving you suggestions to help increase the impact of your storytelling. So the idea of this toolkit, like I said, is one that's accessible for people, regardless of whether they've had anything to do with Bridge. It's to help people feel empowered to use digital to do good and to make a difference in the work that they're doing without it feeling too overwhelming. So I'm hoping that you might have some contacts who would benefit from this as well. So like I said, you'll get an email later on today sending it out the link so you can have a look through, but also, yeah, if you are, you've got learnings from the Bridge program that you are developing, but I'm sure that you've got other people in your networks who maybe are starting out in their digital journey, and this could be a great way to kind of support colleagues and peers and do that as well. So I'm hoping that that looks interesting for you all. And as and when you do get around to using it, we would really, really value your feedback. All of the tools that we've been developing with our AI squad at Lightfall have been based on feedback from Bridge participants. And actually this toolkit, for those of you that might have been around for our very first Coffee and Collaborate session, we voted on things that we thought would be the most useful. And those votes from that poll have gone into what's been included in this toolkit. So we're very much listening to our wonderful Bridge participants and making content that we hope will be really useful. So really cool that, yeah, lots of you had an input on that as well. And your say was really taken into consideration when we developed these tools. So just before we wrap up, we've got a couple of minutes left. So I'm just going to launch a final poll for you to share any thoughts and feedback for us today. But does anybody have any final questions or anything they would like to share in terms of any learnings from their groups or anything they would like to know, whether it's about AI or tools or anything like that? Does anyone have any questions or anything they would like to share with the group? And for our Coffee and Collaborate sessions, you probably know they've been kind of planned throughout the different cohorts. For those of you that have been to several, I know for some of you this is your first one, so we'll look to plan another one with the same group of cross cohorts within this group. And if you have any ideas for any topics you'd like to cover, then do let me know, because I'll be planning that one probably for the new year, because I know we're getting into a really busy year and time for everybody, so probably in the new year. So if you have any thoughts, do let me know.
Thank you. This is really helpful for me, just to even have the list of tools to check out. There's so many, and I feel like I'm asking my friends, I feel like I'm Googling it, but to just have your perspective on that, and then to try this platform. I mean, I definitely need a tool like this, and so I really appreciate this session.
Oh, thanks so much, Jenny. That is lovely to hear. And yeah, we've also shared a link to our AI Getting Started course as well. So if anyone needs any help with that, then do feel free to do that. We can do that in one-to-ones as well. I know it's like a very big and changing world to navigate with all of the AI tools that are coming out. So we're always happy to help if we can.
I know what I'm gonna do right away. I wrote a press release for our organization and asked my board for feedback, but now I'm going to ask Lumi for feedback. And we also just sent out a fundraising letter for our Home Share Durham project. So I'm going to submit that to Lumi and see what suggestions we have for fine tuning it for the future.
Oh, amazing. Love to hear that. Let us know how you get on. I hope it's really, really useful for you. But yeah, do keep us in the loop of what you do with it. Well, amazing. It's so nice to hear from you all just to wrap up the session. Big thank you to everyone for joining, taking time out of your day to come and chat with us. As always, we're available over email or via one-to-ones if you need any support. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing those of you who are still on the programme at your next sessions. So thank you everyone for joining and have a great rest of your day.
Bye everyone.